I bet you didn't know the hidden story behind London's transformation. But rewind the clock 358 years, strip away the steel and glass. What's left? A city on the brink of disaster. 1666. It began as an ordinary day, but fate, it seems, had other plans. This was a London built of timber, homes, shops, even churches, all tinderboxes waiting to ignite, narrow streets crammed with buildings, a recipe for disaster. And disaster, my friends, was about to strike. Just imagine, a city consumed by an inferno, the night sky ablaze with a terror-stricken glow. That, my friends, is the story we're about to uncover. Our story begins not in a palace or a parliament, but in the humble abode of a baker, Pudding Lane, an unassuming street that would soon be etched in infamy, a spark, a flicker, and then, the unimaginable, a city set ablaze. This is the untold story of the Great Fire of London. It began, as these things often do, in the dead of night. While London slept, oblivious, a drama unfolded in the heart of Pudding Lane. Thomas Farrinor, the king's baker no less, had banked the fires in his ovens, or so he thought. A stray ember, a forgotten flick of ash, and fate began to spin its deadly web. Imagine the scene, shadows dancing on the walls, the air thick with the scent of smoke and rising panic. The fire, small at first, a hungry beast, found its kindling in the dry wood and cloth of the bakery. Section 2, Through Timber and Thatch, the relentless march of the hungry flames. This is a tale of devastation, a story of how a city built of wood and straw became a tinderbox waiting for a spark. Remember, my friends, this was a London of timber and thatch, a city primed for conflagration. The narrow streets and closely packed buildings created a perfect storm for disaster. The fire, fueled by a steady east wind, ripped through the neighborhood like a demon unleashed. It moved with a speed and ferocity that left little time for escape. From Pudding Lane it surged outward, a crimson tide engulfing everything in its wake. The fire showed no mercy, consuming all in its path. Homes, shops, warehouses, all fell victim to the insatiable hunger of the flames. The fire did not discriminate. It devoured the rich and poor alike. Imagine the terror, the roar of the inferno, the suffocating smoke, the heat so intense it could melt lead. People fled in panic, their lives reduced to a desperate scramble for survival. A desperate homeowner attempts to douse the flames with a bucket of water, a futile effort against the growing inferno. The fire was relentless, and the means to fight it were woefully inadequate. Families grabbed what they could carry, abandoning their homes to the mercy of the flames. The streets were filled with chaos, as people and animals alike sought refuge from the advancing fire. Bucket brigades formed, but the fire was too powerful, too fast. The efforts of the brave were commendable, but ultimately, they were no match for the inferno. The fire spread rapidly, consuming entire neighborhoods. By the time it was finally brought under control, much of the city lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of the hungry flames. In the aftermath, the people of London were left to pick up the pieces. The city would rebuild, but the scars of the Great Fire would remain, a reminder of the relentless march of the hungry flames. Section 3. A city awakens to chaos. The Great Fire announces itself in terror. London, once slumbering, was now wide awake, gripped by a terror unlike any it had known. The Great Fire had announced its arrival. Even the king, safe within the walls of Whitehall Palace, could not escape the sight, the smell, the sheer magnitude of the disaster unfolding before his eyes. Imagine the scene, a river of fire flowing through the heart of London, the air thick with smoke and the screams of the damned. A mother clutches her child fleeing their burning home, her face etched with fear and desperation. Section 4. Samuel Pepys bears witness. A diary entry from the heart of the inferno. In the annals of history, few events have been chronicled with such vivid detail and emotional depth as the Great Fire of London. Samuel Pepys, a man of letters and a keen observer of his time, provides us with a window into the past, allowing us to experience the horror and chaos of that fateful night through his eyes. Samuel Pepys, the great diarist, bore witness to the unfolding chaos. His words paint a vivid picture of that terrible night. As the flames consumed the city, Pepys's diary entries became a lifeline, capturing the raw emotions and the desperate attempts of the people to save their homes and lives. His meticulous records offer a glimpse into the human spirit's resilience in the face of overwhelming disaster.
September 2nd, 1666. Lord, what a sad sight it was by moonlight to see the whole city almost on fire. The night sky was aglow with the inferno's light, casting an eerie glow over the city. The air was thick with smoke, and the sounds of crackling flames and collapsing buildings filled the night. People ran through the streets, their faces etched with fear and despair as they tried to escape the relentless advance of the fire.
A montage of scenes depicting the fire's devastation, buildings reduced to smoldering rubble, families huddled in makeshift shelters, the wounded being tended to. The once bustling city of London was transformed into a landscape of desolation and ruin. The fire spared no one, rich or poor, and the aftermath left thousands homeless and destitute. The community came together in the face of adversity, with neighbors helping each other to rebuild their lives from the ashes.
People distracted and staring and nobody endeavoring to quench it. The sheer scale of the disaster left many in shock, unable to comprehend the magnitude of the destruction. Some stood frozen, watching helplessly as their homes and livelihoods were consumed by the flames. Others, driven by a sense of duty or desperation, tried in vain to fight the fire, using buckets of water and makeshift tools.
The camera returns to Pepys's diary, focusing on the final chilling words of his entry. His reflections capture the essence of the tragedy, a poignant reminder of the fragility of human existence and the unpredictable nature of life. Through his words, we are reminded of the importance of resilience and the enduring human spirit in the face of calamity.
I know not how to describe it, but just as ours is, so will yours be. Pepys' diary serves as a timeless testament to the enduring power of the written word, capturing a moment in history that continues to resonate with us today. His observations remind us that despite the passage of time, the human experience remains universal, and the lessons of the past are still relevant in our modern world.
Imagine, if you will, the River Thames, usually a symbol of London's might, transformed into a mirror reflecting the city's agony. The fire, like a ravenous beast, had cornered its prey against the water's edge. Trapped between the inferno and the unforgiving river, Londoners faced an impossible choice: burn or drown. Families huddled together on makeshift rafts, the flickering flames painting their faces with an eerie glow. The air hung heavy with the stench of smoke, the screams of the terrified, and the roar of the insatiable fire. Now you might think fighting fire with fire sounds barmy, right? But in 1666, it was their best shot. They called it blowing up houses. Sounds dramatic, eh? Imagine the scene: black powder, the good stuff they used for cannons, stuffed into the basements of buildings. Then boom! A desperate gamble to starve the beast. Poor old Bloodworth, the mayor, he's running around like a headless chicken. Pish, he says, a woman could piss it out. Famous last words, eh? Now, King Charles II, he liked a good time, loved a party, but even Charlie Boy knew this was serious business. This fire was a right royal pain in his backside. He rolls up his sleeves, pitches in with the lads. You gotta respect that, right? A king getting his hands dirty. Now let's not get carried away. Old Charlie Boy didn't exactly put out the fire himself, but hey, every little bit helps, right? Section 4. Escape from the inferno. Londoners flee for their lives. Imagine the terror mothers clutching their babes, children clinging to their fathers, the elderly left behind in the rush. It was a mass exodus, a desperate scramble for survival. The very air thick with fear, panic etched on every face. They fled to the open fields, these Londoners, seeking refuge from the inferno that had consumed their homes, their livelihoods, their city. Section 1. A city in ashes, the grim dawn after the Great Fire. And then silence. The fire, exhausted, finally began to relent. But what it left in its wake was a city transformed, scarred, broken. Imagine this: walking through the streets you once knew, every landmark, every corner shop, now just a pile of ash, the air thick with the smell of soot, the silence broken only by the crackle of embers and the sobs of the dispossessed. The London they knew, The London of Shakespeare, of gossip and gin, was gone, reduced to a smoldering skeleton. Section 2. The stench of ruin, picking up the pieces in a ghostly London. Now, imagine the stench. Thousands of homes, countless shops, all gone up in smoke. The air, thick with the stench of roasted wood, melted metal, and something far more sinister. Yeah, the fire had a taste for flesh too. Amongst the rubble, they found them. Men, women, children. Their stories forever silenced by the flames. Those who survived, well, they were left with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the weight of their loss. It was a city united in grief, in shock, in the overwhelming task of rebuilding their lives. Imagine being one of the lucky ones. You escape the flames, but where do you go? What do you do when your entire life has been reduced to ashes? Homelessness, hunger, disease, they became the true legacy of the Great Fire. The city, once a bustling center of trade, now relied on the charity of others. But even in the face of such adversity, the spirit of London, that indomitable spirit, began to flicker back to life. A man's calloused hands, gripping a hammer and chisel, worked tirelessly to clear a space amongst the rubble, the first step towards rebuilding his life. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Well, Londoners are a tough breed. They rolled up their sleeves, spat on their hands, and got to work. Blacksmiths rekindled their forges, carpenters sharpened their saws. The city, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, began to stir. It wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be pretty. But the Great Fire, as destructive as it was, couldn't extinguish the spirit of London. Now, out of the ashes steps a hero. Not a bloke with a sword and tights, mind you, but a man with a quill and a head full of big ideas. Sir Christopher Wren, at your service. Wren, he wasn't just some fancy-pants architect. He was a scientist, a mathematician, a proper Renaissance man. He looked at that smoldering mess and saw opportunity. Wider streets, fire-resistant materials, building codes, the whole shebang. He wanted a London that wouldn't just rise from the ashes, but one that would bloody well impress. Wren surveys the construction of a new London street, a sense of pride and accomplishment on his face. Around him, workers bustle about, bringing his vision to life. His plans were meticulous, every line and curve drawn with precision. Wren wasn't just rebuilding, he was reimagining. He pored over maps and documents, envisioning a city that would stand the test of time. One of his crowning achievements was St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of resilience and grandeur. The cathedral's dome, an architectural marvel, became a beacon of hope and renewal for Londoners. Wren didn't work alone. He collaborated with other brilliant minds, sharing ideas and refining plans. Together, they transformed London into a city of innovation and beauty, a testament to human ingenuity. Wren's legacy lives on in the very fabric of London, a city that rose from the ashes to become a global icon. So, here's to Sir Christopher Wren, the man with a vision who turned disaster into opportunity and dreams into reality. His vision for a new London continues to inspire, reminding us that from the ashes, greatness can emerge. Now, out of the ashes steps a hero. Not a bloke with a sword and tights, mind you, but a man with a quill and a head full of big ideas. Sir Christopher Wren, at your service. Wren, he wasn't just some fancy-pants architect. He was a scientist, a mathematician, a proper Renaissance man. He looked at that smoldering mess and saw opportunity. Wider streets, fire-resistant materials, building codes, the whole shebang. He wanted a London that wouldn't just rise from the ashes, but one that would bloody well impress. Wren surveys the construction of a new London street, a sense of pride and accomplishment on his face. Around him, workers bustle about, bringing his vision to life. His plans were meticulous, every line and curve drawn with precision. Wren wasn't just rebuilding, he was reimagining. He pored over maps and documents, envisioning a city that would stand the test of time. One of his crowning achievements was St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of resilience and grandeur. The cathedral's dome, an architectural marvel, became a beacon of hope and renewal for Londoners. Wren didn't work alone. He collaborated with other brilliant minds, sharing ideas and refining plans. Together, they transformed London into a city of innovation and beauty, a testament to human ingenuity. Wren's legacy lives on in the very fabric of London, a city that rose from the ashes to become a global icon. So, here's to Sir Christopher Wren, the man with a vision who turned disaster into opportunity and dreams into reality. His vision for a new London continues to inspire, reminding us that from the ashes, greatness can emerge.
Now, St. Paul's Cathedral, that was the heart of London, you see, and the fire, it ripped through it like it was nothing but kindling. Wren, he took one look at that mess and said, right, we can do better. And boy, did he deliver. He poured his heart and soul into that building. St. Paul's, as you see it today, that's Wren's masterpiece, a symbol of London's enduring spirit, a beacon of hope rising from the ashes.
Now, the Great Fire, it was a tragedy, no doubt, but it also forced London to change, to evolve. Gone were the days of those cramped, rat-infested alleys. Wren, he brought order to the chaos. A new London, more open, more ambitious. And you know what? London learned its lesson. Stricter building codes, fire brigades, they even banned wooden houses in the city center. Health and safety, mate, it's all the rage now. So there you have it, the Great Fire of London, a right royal disaster, a city in ashes. But from those ashes something remarkable emerged. London, see, she's a tough old bird, she's seen it all, plagues, fires, bombings. But she always bounces back, stronger, bolder, more full of life than ever. The Great Fire, it's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit, that spark of resilience, can never truly be extinguished. So, what did you reckon? Another Chrono Reels adventure done and dusted, but don't go switching off just yet. We've got a whole vault of untold stories just waiting to be unearthed. Ancient mysteries, royal scandals, blokes with powdered wigs doing barmy things. You name it, we've got it. Just hit that subscribe button and join the Chrono Reels crew. We're off on a journey through the dusty corridors of history, and you, my friend, are invited. Now let's get a good old chinwag going in the comments. What tickles your historical fancy? What stories are you dying to hear? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those history vibes flowing. And don't forget to subscribe. Share your thoughts and join the conversation below. Your insights could be featured in our next episode.